Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is Andy 255, Advanced Animation and Effects, Module 10. We're going to be Introduction to Encloth, and let's take you through really quickly what we're going to be learning this week. I'm going to introduce you to Encloth and show you how to apply it to objects. It's fairly easy and pretty straightforward. The attributes get a little bit challenging. It takes a long time, just like when we worked with rigid bodies. It just takes a long time to tweak things out, so just be patient. Dynamics is kind of a patience game, if you guys haven't figured that out. Some of you love it, some of you hate it, and I'm hoping you don't hate it, but if you do, just bear with me. We've only got I think 5 or 6 more weeks left, so just hang in there. Actually, this is Module 10. We only have 5 more. So hang in there. We're going to get it done. We've got 4 mini assignments. It's not as bad as you think. There's more modeling and texturing than anything. It's the simulation's not so bad. And so I think the hardest simulation we did was the milk. Okay, so that's behind us now. So we're good to go. So I'm going to show you how to do the drape, the hanging curtain, and opening the curtains, and a flag. The flag is going to be fun. I'm going to have extra credit on that, so look for that at the very end. That's where you do a small mini, kind of a small scene for me, and a flagpole and a flag, and it's got to be kind of raggedy and torn, and it's been used, out in the elements and torn on just on the ends. It'll be fun, it'll be cool, and you'll have to do a background, kind of like find a really cool HDR image you'd like to use in the background as a sky dome for Arnold, and give me a portfolio render. Make it a portfolio piece, and it'll have to be rendered out, so you have to make sure you give yourself enough time to do that. At least a couple days maybe. It'll be about 500 frames, so I'm not exactly sure how long that'll take you on your computer. Might render it overnight, I don't know. But I look forward to seeing some of you guys do that. I don't expect everybody to do the extra credit, but you do get 10 extra points. It's not heavy in modeling or texturing. It's a flag, for crying out loud, depending on what you guys end up doing. But hey, some of you guys have really knocked it out of the park with some of these extra credit, and I'm going to be showing those at the very end in Module 15, some of the work you guys have been doing. Show that off to the entire class, those of you that have done extra credit. So I look forward to showing that off and having you guys see some of the really crazy work that's been going on in the classroom behind the scenes with extra credit. So alright, so that's basically it. The overview, it doesn't seem like there's a lot, and I don't think it's considered a light week. So some of you might be able to do the extra credit that want the extra 10 points. Alright, so you guys can look at the objectives. I really don't go through all of that, but you can look at those. You're going to be doing 4 mini scenes. Again, I kind of talked about that. And then we've got the lesson content, lectures, and video tutorials. Make sure you look through those. I go through everything in Encloth. Now, there's some things I don't go over that I might go over because I'm kind of, if I do the clothing, the skirt and the top, that's not going to be enough. So I might show you some of the things that you guys can do with cloth, which will be fun. Alright, so Encloth Dynamics is extremely versatile. You can do a lot of stuff from hair to mechanical stuff like ropes and stuff. It's really incredibly versatile, and you can do a lot of cool effects with it. So we take you through the Encloth workflow, and I've got it so you guys can click on these and it'll go right to the Autodesk website and takes you directly to that particular information. So it's really nice, and you guys can go back and forth finding anything that you want. Encloth properties is really important. So it takes you through all of this, what everything does. So So that's very helpful. And please don't be afraid to check things out. I really want you to look at the properties, the attributes, the property. Even though I go through them in the video, these are a lot more in depth. It would take me a lot longer to go through the videos and hitting every single thing. So make sure that you look at those if you want to look at some of the intricacies now of the attributes. But this one here we need to talk about. I noticed that Maya does like for encloth to be in meters. Now I've noticed it's a little bit less than meters. It's not quite meters that you get your best simulation, and it really depends on what you're trying to simulate. Cloth is very challenging that way, trying to figure out what scale you should be in. And learned to get I went into feet, and that seemed to work a lot better. So it's kind of in between feet and meters. Between those two is what I found to be the best. So if you see me going to space scale and going from 1 to something like 0.5, it's because it's between those two settings. Okay? So anyway, I left the scale up here so you guys can check it out, and you can, and some of these things may work, may not work. Sometimes you just got to go in there and change the space scale. That's kind of the big thing. So I got an introduction to encloth, basically talking about you know, how to get encloth started and how to work with it, and some of the attributes that are in here, the properties. So I go through some of that. And then, of course, the course assignment, you're going to be doing 4 mini assignments, and while you're learning how to use encloth, and you're going to be doing 4: the drape, the hanging curtain, open the curtains, and the flag simulation. You're going to be turning in, on the drape, you're going to be turning in a play blast for every one of these. So you'll have 4 play blasts, you'll have 4 MB files. So you're going to be doing all these separately. You don't want to do them all at once. It will crash your system. So keep that in mind. All separate pieces. And then here in the actual assignment videos, I show you how to set up your mini assignment scenes. Now this one will take you through all 3. And we'll have all 3 in the same scene, but you're going to be play blasting and saving these MB files out separately. Okay? And when you go through these, you'll see how I do it. Okay, and then the flag, the assignment 4. Again, there's only like 4 videos, so this will go pretty quickly. The biggest thing is just getting your scene set up. That might take you, maybe 20-30 minutes to set it up. And again, I'm not going to grade you on texturing this time. Make sure you add the materials though, otherwise you get 4 points taken off. I don't want all gray, the same default material on there on your objects, because it's really hard to see what is what in your scene. Extra credit I mentioned right in here. Some of you may miss it because you don't go all the way down to the bottom, but this time I put it kind of at the top, just kind of give you right under your assignment to kind of remind you that there is some extra credit, and if you want to go ahead and go for it, these are some of the things you have to do. So to get all the extra credit, you need to texture, light, and render. And so it depends on how much work you put into it, and if it looks good and it you know, really kind of lives up to a portfolio quality, then I'm more than happy to give you 10 points. Okay. All right. So the assignment, make sure you read the grading rubric, so you know exactly what I'm going to be looking at and what you're going to be you know, and you can see right now that the Lambert materials, it's really a bothersome thing that's really hard to see in a play blast how things look. So that's 4 points off right off the top if you don't do that, and that's for every one of these. Okay, so make sure that you give me different colored Lambert materials for the objects. And if you want to follow mine exactly, then I couldn't be happier. If you want to do your own thing, that's great. But they make sure that there's contrast between each one of the objects. Okay, so I can tell where they are. And then the deliverables are really important too as well, to make sure you read things very carefully. If you have questions, make sure you contact me at jbyers3@jcc.edu. And here are the turn-in instructions as usual. The only thing I'm not showing here is that you do need to turn in a screenshot of just the final simulation of the cadaver, the blanket over the cadaver. I do want the play blast. Here's the play blast, but I don't. The only thing that's showing is that you do need to do a screenshot of that. So that should be here. And extra credit, again, we just talked about that. No, the biggest thing is have fun. Have fun while you're doing this. These are supposed to be fun little mini. I try to make it as fun as possible. And I have had to make changes to the online forum to make sure everything fits in there. We do weekly projects, and it's different every single time. So, all right, you guys have a great week, and I will see you next week in Module 11. Have a good one.